Incredible human beings, welcome back to another live video. I think we're live. Are we live yet? Can you let me know if you're watching this live, by the way, and it's coming up live? Just let me know in the comment section. Just comment live if you're watching this live, just so I can make sure the stream's working. And also, if you're watching this as a replay, if you're watching this later on, just comment replay down below. Now, as you can tell by the title, this is for anybody in here in this group who's called grumpy dad or angry dad by their kids or by their wife or partner, by the people around them that really matter the most. And this is really for you and I'm going to run through a couple of things as well in a second that you'll decide whether this is relevant for you. But often when we get called grumpy dad or angry dad, or we're seen as the person who's always Mr. Serious, Mr. Grumpy, glass half empty type person, there's a lot of feelings that we have with this. So this is going to be particularly helpful for you if you feel like you're carrying the family, like you feel like you're doing everything for everyone. If you feel like you've got everybody's back, but nobody has yours. And it's like you were destined for really big things. You were destined to create, a lot of stuff that you want to do and do extraordinarily well. But you fell short and you've never quite reached your potential. There's like this underlying frustration, which is just kind of sitting within you. If you know that this is affecting your family and you want to change, but you're not sure how, if that sounds familiar, keep listening because this is for you. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to run you through exactly how you can fix it, because I've been in pretty much the same position as where you are right now. So go back a few years now. I was an angry kid, like just in general. I was very, very angry from a younger age. And we all I think can agree that guys who end up being grumpy or angry dads, generally we have more difficult childhoods, and we have things which go on where life isn't always pretty for us. And so I was always very, very angry, like from a very, very young age. I could be very, very bubbly, but there was like this underlying anger and frustration which was just within me all the way through up until the age of about 25, which is when I finally solved this. But I used to lose my shit at anything, like anything really, really small. Something was out of place, something wasn't done correctly, bed wasn't made correctly. I used to lose my shit at the people around me, right? In particularly partners. And it's not like I was abusive or I was controlling or anything like that, but I was very quick to judge, very quick to get angry, and just very quick to lose my shit when I really didn't need to. And it had a massive detrimental effect on the people around me, the people who I actually cared about most. The most notable is like when I've been with Soph, my wife, right? She's absolutely incredible. I love her to bits. She's amazing. But there were times where I wasn't overly pleasant with her, where she would stuff something up, make an honest mistake, right? Where the biggest one is when she would tidy up the place. Soph's an amazing, she runs the house amazingly. And she would always tidy up and make sure that everything's really, really clean all the time. And then she would move something, I wouldn't know where it was. And I'd lose my shit over dumb stuff like that. Or in traffic, right? If somebody cut me off, this is back when I was living in Sydney, terrible traffic. We used to drive from our apartment in Lane Cove over to the gym, and that was a 6-kilometre drive. It used to take us 35 minutes to go 6 kilometres, bumper to bumper the whole way, literally peak hour, started at 6 a.m. and ended at about 2, and then started at 3 and ended at 7. All day, every day was bloody peak hour. And I was like angry all the time when I'm driving, like losing my shit. I literally used to joke, I'd have one hand on the steering wheel and the other one out the window, that sort of thing. And there was always just this underlying level of frustration. And it took its toll on Soph. Like it really did take its toll on Soph, because she's constantly surrounded by this dude who's always super, super angry, super, super pent up. And we know how that is. Like, when you're around someone who's angry, it starts feeding off onto you. And I could see the effect that it was having on her. And I don't know if you guys have met Sophie, you know much about her, but this girl is absolutely incredible. Like, she is so totally beautiful, so gentle, so kind, so caring, so amazing. And I could see the effect that I was having on her. And what made me think about this as well, and why it would be potentially so important for some of you guys to talk about this, is, well, I'm going to be a dad, obviously, in a few weeks. It's not going to be long until my beautiful little girl is going to be born. And I was thinking about, well, what type of dad do I want to be for her? How do I want her to remember me? How do I want her to how do I want her to act? How do I want her to think of me? And what impacts do I want to have on her life in the way that she thinks, the way that she acts, the way that she grows up? And I was thinking really deep, and I was like, the one thing that I never want my little girl to be exposed to is me being angry, because it's the most crushing, damaging thing that can happen to a kid, is have a really, really angry parent around, even if that anger isn't always directed to them. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm certainly not going to do that. And for the last 3 years, I've been working really, really hard to be super calm, super chilled out, and super relaxed. But I know that there's a large number of men who have real troubles and real difficulties with this. And you probably tried everything. I mean, like when I was, go back a few years ago again to when I was, angry James, I did everything to try and fix the problem. Like the first thing that I did is, if I knew that I was going to be shitty and I was in a crappy mood, I just work more, because that way, at least I'm not around anybody if I'm just out and I'm just working, and so I'd go and I'd work massive, massive hours, and I'd just never be around. And funnily enough, Soph didn't overly like that, right? Because you don't actually get to spend time with the people who actually, they want to spend time with you. And so that was the first thing that I tried, and that one failed absolutely miserably. The second thing I tried was blowing off steam. We've got this expression, right? Blowing off steam. Us Aussies, we love that one. Where we go out and we get fucked up out of our mind, right? And we drink, we do drugs, we do whatever, in order just to blow off steam and to get rid of the week stress, right? And I tried that as well. Now, that was fun, and I did love getting fucked up because it was enjoyable, and I had a good bunch of mates to go and party with. But one big problem is that the next day, and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that, I felt like crap and I was a dick again. So sure, I blew off some steam, and maybe one day I wasn't as mean, but I was still hungover. But then after that, I actually got worse because I was so cooked from going out, so scat and so hungover, that I was even worse. So the whole blowing off steam thing didn't work. And then I went and I tried buying stuff, just buying shit, right? Spending money, because when we're in this situation, and we are grumpy dad. Generally, we're grumpy dad because we're working a lot. We've got a fair bit of stress on. Our energy's pretty low, but we're doing pretty well for ourselves, like financially, like we're making a bit of money. So what do we think? We think, oh, well, the missus just wants me to buy her shit. She just wants some money. Here, I'll throw a holiday at the family. I'll throw some new toys. I'll throw some fancy jewelry. I'll throw some of this stuff. And we just start throwing out materialistic crap. And it's a nice thought. And it's the way that we are trying to convey our love to our family. But often it misses the mark, and I'll tell you why, right? The reason why it misses the mark is because that's not what they want. See, here's the thing. They don't want your shit. They don't want your money. They don't want any of that crap. What they want is you. They want you. They want dad around. They want their husband around. They want the man of the house to be around, to be cool, calm, and collected. They don't want a man who's going to be stressed out, anxious, angry, always exhausted, who just wants to sit on the couch and tell everyone else to fuck off. They don't want that. They want you, and they want me. And I figured that out because I would go out and I bought so fancy things and took her on fancy holidays and did all this sort of stuff. And it still didn't improve anything because I was still being a prick, still wasn't being kind to her as what I should have been. And it never let me actually connect with her on a high level. And the only way in which I could connect with her at a much, much higher level was when I started fixing myself. See, the whole thing about this, and that we need to remember, right? And the first thing I want to say is, if you're an angry dad, if you're a grumpy dad, right? If you're busy, if you're stressed out, you've got a lot of shit on, and sometimes you have a short fuse, I just want to say straight out, categorically, it is not your fault. A lot of the time, we're super harsh on ourselves. I had some of my deepest, darkest thoughts about me when I was reminiscing and thinking on the ways in which I'd acted and the ways in which I'd spoken to Soph. And I didn't think particularly highly of myself. In fact, I know a number of dudes who've actually came close to killing themselves because of their actions and because of the way that their family have been affected by their actions. The first thing that I want to say is it's not your fault, but sure as shit is your problem. And you got to fix this, because if you don't fix this now, think about the damage that you do to your family every day. Every single time you come home grumpy, every single time you're irritable, single time you're short, you're stressed out, you're anxious, you're tired, you're exhausted, it affects them. So it mightn't be your fault, and I'll explain why that is in a sec, but it sure as shit is your problem. And every single second that you hesitate on this and you don't fix it, it's only going to get worse. And I know that firsthand because I lived this, right? I lived this life and it wasn't pretty at all. The reason why men get grumpy, angry, and irritable, right? This is the number one reason. It's because of this little thing within our brain called the amygdala, right at the center of the nervous system. The amygdala is a small little area which controls our stress response. Now, anger is only a response to stress. Anger just doesn't happen for no reason. Anger always has a reason. And in your life right now, there will be a reason. And that is because something has triggered your amygdala to say, hey, there's something going on here. You need to respond with anger. Anger is a response in a way of making us feel safe, helping us retain control, and keeping us calm from danger. Now, if we don't know how to process that anger properly and our amygdala runs a show, we'll just be grumpy and we'll just be a dick all the time. Because this amygdala is processing stress constantly over and over and over and over again. But it's not telling us how to actually utilize that stress or channel that stress in an appropriate manner or in a healthy manner. Does that make sense at all? Let me know if it does or if it doesn't. So this amygdala, this little area within the nervous system is key. Because if you can hack this, you can totally beat anger. You will never be grumpy dad again. You'll never be angry dad again. It sure as hell worked for me. It was a total game changer. It was literally like I snapped my fingers as soon as I could learn how to control my amygdala. It was like an unfair advantage that I had over every single other man. Because I never got stressed anymore, I never got anxious, I never got wound up, and therefore, because of that, I never got angry, I never got grumpy, I never got impatient. I'm just super calm, cool, and collected, and everything's groovy 24/7, 365, no matter what is thrown my way. And I've got a decent-sized company that I run as well. You know, we've got like 30 employees who work in and around us. So there's a fair bit of stuff, and every now and then, me being the boss man, I have to make tough decisions. I have to do difficult things. There are things which apply pressure to me, right? Pressure is when something uncomfortable happens and it forces me to grow all the time. But since I've learned how to hack this amygdala and utilize my nervous system appropriately, no more stress, no more anger, no more grumpiness. All that stuff has just dissipated. And this is exactly how we work on this for guys. And this is exactly what I did. Like, I'll run you through exactly how I learned how to hack my amygdala, right? The very first thing that we need to do is acknowledge that it is not our fault, but not our problem. I said that before. It's not your fault. The reason why you have this, the reason why you get angry, the reason why you get grumpy, the reason why you get tired, stressed, and anxious, all of this is because how you've been taught to act your whole life. Because we're brought up with this. Let's think about it. If you're grumpy, if you get angry, you had to learn that from somewhere, right? Who'd you learn it from? Did you learn it from your dad? Did you learn it from your mum, one of your teachers, somebody around you, a major male role model? Think back. Go back. I want you to go into your brain right now. Think back 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and look back and find out where you learnt that from. It's a conditioned response. This is something that we're taught right from the very get-go. The second thing is that there's also a little bit of this which is just part of being human, and that you need to learn how to control this anger. And you need to learn how to control your amygdala, because otherwise it'll just run wild. If you let it do its thing, it'll just do its thing and it'll keep on going. And you'll always be having the same reaction. And you'll pass all the pain and hurt and frustration that you feel, you're going to pass all of that onto your kid, right? Kids, or your partner, or the people around you, your employees, everyone. It just keeps getting passed on. This anger and these emotions, if they're not transformed, they're transferred, right? What I mean by that is that if you don't turn this pain or these feelings of frustration and angst and anxiety and stress, if you don't turn that into something positive, you're just going to pass that straight on to the next person. I think you can know what I mean. Have you ever noticed whenever you're having a shit day, you'll have a lot of fights? Whenever you're having a really good day, you won't have a lot of fights? Things will be easy for you? That's exactly what I'm talking about, okay? And the other thing that we need to be really, really aware of is that we can fix this. You can actually change it. How do I know? Because I've done it. And also I've happened to do it on a shitload of other people as well. I've had more dads than I can count since joining our program and working with us say, holy fucking shit, you have totally changed me for my kids. Pat Hillier is one. Adam Nash is another, right? That's just off the top of my head right now that I can tell you. Those two guys have totally transformed. Why? Because we taught them how to manipulate their nervous system and manipulate their amygdala. That's what they need to do. So how do you actually go and do that? That's a really, really good point. So the way that we do it for our guys is this. Step number one, the very first thing that we do with every single guy is we give them a series of strategies on how to optimize their nervous system. Now, this isn't easy, right? I've spent the last, cumulatively with our team, we spent like 40 years researching that, right? Cumulatively within our team. I've been studying this stuff for the last decade alone. It's not easy, but when you have the code and you know how to fix it, it is reliable, repeatable, super, super simple. So we put all of our guys through a process where we completely rewire their nervous system and rewire their amygdala. What we actually do is this. So the amygdala, when we start getting angry, when we get anxious, when we get stressed, and we have repeated high levels of stress, it actually starts to get stronger. So imagine if you're doing bench press every single day, right? And you just do a few reps every single day. Over time, you're going to continue to get stronger and stronger and stronger. In fact, I know a lot of Australia's best bench pressers, right? I've associated with them, hung out with them, lifted them. They're awesome dudes. The way that they get really fucking good is by doing it every single day. Your amygdala works in exactly the same manner. If you continually use it because you're stressed, because you're anxious, because you have stuff going on, and you don't figure out how to compartmentalize and fix and rewire that, the amygdala gets stronger and stronger and stronger to a point where it takes over. And then all of a sudden, just subconsciously, you'll lose your shit. You'll burst out in anger. You'll do things that you didn't need to do. You'll be like me, driving with one hand on the steering wheel and the other one out the window, right? If that's how your amygdala is functioning, nothing that you ever do will ever be able to fix it. That's why you need to start with the amygdala first. Most people think, oh, I'll just work more, or I'll just make more money. That'll fix it. Fuck, that's my favorite one. Everyone loves to blame money for everything. Here's an interesting thing, right? Whenever you fix your stress and you become less stressed, more calm, more caring, less angry, less irritable, and your amygdala starts working better, you'll immediately start making more money every single time. The biggest thing that holds men back from making more money is their stress response every single time. Money is not the solution. Money is merely a symptom of how you're functioning. If you're functioning at a high level, you'll make a lot of money. If you're not functioning at a high level, you won't make as much money. Simple as that. Money is never the answer. And if you're sitting here and you're waiting for the next paycheck, for the next big break, the next thing, and then I'll be relaxed. No offense, but you're kidding yourself. I'm not here to coddle you. I'm here to drop you the truth because I've seen this thousands of times over and over and over again. What we need to do is we need to rewire the way that you think. So we set out a structure for all of our clients. That's the first thing. The second thing that we do after that is we get them to understand intricately the nervous system and the components within it which regulate and govern us. Because when we understand these thoughts and these feelings and these patterns, that's when we can catch them and that's when we can fix them. And the third thing that we do is accountability. If you're trying to change, if you're trying to get better, if you're trying to improve yourself, you must every single time have someone going with you. Because nobody ever wins by going alone. The lone wolf dies every single time. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with the team. And that's what we need. I sure as hell didn't improve by myself. You guys know that I have a lot of mentors. I spend around $300,000 a year just on mentoring so that I can get better, so I can continue performing at a really, really fucking high level to help all of my guys, right? At the moment, I have 13 different mentors who are helping me in every single way. Why? Because I want to be really fucking good. And this area is no exception. Making it so that you don't lose your shit, so that you're not grumpy like I was, making it so that you can be cooler, making it so that you don't get stressed, you don't get anxious. You need to have someone who's going to be guiding you and holding you accountable the whole way. Now, if you guys want to learn more about this and you want to be able to rewire your amygdala, if you want to fix your nervous system, you want to learn more about what we do, down there, just comment, happy dad, right? No more fucking grumpy dad. Comment happy dad down below. If you want to be able to fix your stress, fix your energy, not be grumpy, not be impatient, and be the best dad, the best husband, the best partner that you actually can be, and just be a better man because you're not willing to settle like this, comment down below, happy dad, right? Because here's the thing, it's not your fault. The reason why we act in this way as men is because we're conditioned for it and because we've evolved this way. But it sure as shit is your problem. Because if you don't fix this and you don't learn how to contain this, your kids are going to do it too. Your partner's going to do it too. Your employees are going to do it too. Every single person who you are here to serve, who you are here to work with, every single person who is within your life will be poorer off for you being angry. And let's think about that. That's a really big statement. I get that. But every single time you have a reaction with somebody who's really angry, really stressed out, and really anxious all the time, how do you feel after interacting with that person? Do you feel happy? Do you feel angry? Do you feel anxious? Do you want to be around that person or do you not? So think about your feelings towards that person. Think about if your dad was grumpy, if your dad was angry, your dad was stressed. Think about the impacts that had on you and think about the impact that you're having on everyone around you. I'll leave you guys at that. But if you want to learn more about this and what we're doing, if you want to be able to rewire your amygdala, fix your nervous system, and not fall into this same pattern that every single man these days falls into, and stop repeating all this generational trauma which is passed on to our kids, passed on to our families, passed on to our loved ones, be like Joseph, right? And comment happy dad down below, right? Comment on there. If you're watching this as a replay, you may be able to click the button. Click the button. Put your information in there and then we'll get you info on how you can fix this and how our program can work for you. Okay? On that note, guys, I'll leave you all to it. I hope this has helped you out. I want to see you guys all as happy as what I am. I'm so blessed. Fuck, I can't believe it. 9 weeks, I'm going to have my little baby girl in my arms. I'm so excited for it. I'll tell you what, right now, I'm sure as shit so fucking glad that I'm always going to be there for her. I'm never going to be stressed. I'm never going to be anxious. And I'm going to be able to give her unconditional, both she and Soph, unconditional love every single day till the day that I die, until the day that they do. On that note, guys, I'll leave you all to it. Comment happy dad down below if you want to learn more about this. I'll speak to you all soon.